In in reading this book, The Raw Material by Carla Record, uh, it's a book where there's an entity that is channeled through her, and they have a question and answer period where they go through and they ask the entity a number of questions, and the entity gives them a number of answers back to them. And there were three people in the group who did this, and some of the information that they did when they asked the questions was not known to scientists at the time and has since been verified as being true and accurate. So there's a lot of validity, or at least anecdotal evidence that the information that came through it came through from some source that we didn't know anything about, because they came through with information that didn't exist in the general knowledge plane, and to my knowledge, no one knew about it until some time later. And a lot of this was scientific information. Now, the entity comes through the Carla in order to help educate us and to help us continue on our spiritual path. And the one of the concepts that they talk about is something called third density and fourth density. If we look at an octave like in music, it starts off from note one and goes to note seven, and a note eight is a repeat of note one. So third density you can think of as the third note in the octave. In our octave, that would be middle C. And what happens here is that the third density is said to be about 26,000 or 27,000 years long. And during that time, we need to make a choice. So if we want to be service to others and service to self, when third density is over, and I believe we're at that transition period right now, and it started with, the Mayans said, oh, the world ends in 2012. That coincides with what the metaphysical entities say, that third density officially ends and we start to transition into what's called fourth density. A lot of the children coming through and a lot of people are starting to have more uh, elevated energy levels and elevated frequencies in their body. And this is enabling them to do other metaphysical stuff that before we wouldn't necessarily do. So a lot of these individuals are coming through and they're having psychic abilities and telepathic abilities and all sorts of things, and this energy is coming through and helping us to evolve to the next level. The next level we go into is called fourth density, and that's, I don't know, 1 million or 2 years long. And during that time, we evolve and we learn how to exist in an environment where we can have telepathic communications with other people, and and do all sorts of fantastic things that we couldn't necessarily do in what's called third density. So one of the issues of going from third density to fourth density is that all of our thoughts become public knowledge. So if you're walking down the street and you think something, some sarcastic remark about someone, they'll be able to pick that up with you. And some people are starting to pick this up already. Like, so, you walk into a room or something, or you're talking to someone, and all of a sudden you get an impression that's not nice or that is nice. And we're starting to pick up those things more and more. So as you start to get this kind of information, you should be paying attention to it and be thanking the universe, because it's a gift being given to you, to be able to evolve to this level where we can have this kind of communications, and we can open up our hearts and open up our abilities and be able to exist on these other levels. If you have any questions on this specifically, if you'd like me to go into more detail on this, send me a question or post something in the comments, and I can certainly address that.